Today you'll learn a simple piano riff you can use to cover an intro on the fly, fill space during an instrumental, and even use to play under your pastor or during a time of prayer. I love using this one because it's simple but beautiful, and you can start with it and then add on additional melody notes or change the progression underneath as you see fit for the moment. So here's the riff that we're going to do. So what's great to start with is to just go ahead and put on the tonic ambient pad underneath, and then you can just hold on the one and then improvise on it a little bit. So here's what I might do. Now what's really great is you can use any chord progression underneath and just change the notes a little bit to fit whatever you're doing. So one that I really like to do is 6 minor, 5, and 4, but I like to keep the top couple of notes the same or similar notes to the notes on top that I'm playing with the riff. So here's what this sounds like. This is really nice because you could just keep repeating, you could keep vamping as long as you want to, and then you can sit in that or you can choose to expand it a little bit if you'd like. So sometimes I like to change the notes a little bit and bring the whole thing a bit higher and then start to build a little bit of speed and do it faster. So this is how I might like to do it if it was building a little bit more. So I really like to do this inversion of the notes for a little riff that I like to do for Waymaker for the bridge. And so sometimes I can keep my top note the same and just change my bottom note to fit the chords as they are changing through the chord progression. And it just shifts the melody a little bit. So here's how I like to do that. So you can see for that first one, I'm doing this shape, but I'm adding in these extra notes. And then for the second note in the chord progression, I'm just changing one note. Now here, when I move to the 5, the G chord, I'm still starting with the same note on the C, but I'm changing the bottom note, which helps it line up better with the chord. And then for the 6 minor, I'm back to the original one. Then if I want to double it, I can speed it up as well. Now, if I wanted to keep that more simple, I could actually even just play it like I did the original riff and not make it as complicated. Change that bottom note there to make it fit the 5 chord. So that still adds some motion to it while keeping it simple. Sometimes I can use a riff to accent some empty space, but I can do it more like a blocked chord than like an inversion or the little 2-note riff. So here's how it might look if you did it a little bit more blocked. So that can be really good to just fill some space, but it still has a little bit of energy and it's kind of nice and pretty and a little bit up high. Similarly, it can be really nice to bring that back to the middle of the piano, and you can use a little bit of a different inversion of this with the C on the bottom instead of on the top. And this can also create really good energy, sometimes to start out a song in a set or in between, like a verse and a chorus, something like that. So this might look like this. And this is just a suspended chord with the 4 on the top, the F. You can even change the progression. Change the note for the 5. You can kind of just keep the energy moving. I also like to use this during the chorus of Holy Spirit. A lot of the melody of this song is on the 2, 3, and the 4 in the scale, and so that can work really well. It's great to also move this around and play it in different keys, and it works the same way and it sounds really great. So here's a little bit of an example in G. And I can just keep my right hand in the same spot and just move the notes around a little bit. And they all sound great, which is awesome. And if I want to change the progression, I can. I can just easily come back to the 1. And I can even just stay on the 1 as much as I need to. Maybe I'm transitioning between songs and I'm kind of waiting to see what's going to happen next. I can just stay here. Or maybe I bring my hand up higher to the other inversion. I'm still mostly keeping right hand in that position that I started in. One thing I like about keeping it simple and just making these really subtle and small changes is it also allows me to keep it playing. It sounds really beautiful. It's filling space in the moment, but then it also allows me to really pay attention to what's going on and catch the next cue for where the worship leader might want to take it, or to be able to listen to the pastor if I'm playing underneath to see where he's going, and then I'm able to quickly kind of end the transitional moment as needed. But I'm able to free up some of my brain space so that I'm able to do all of those things all at the same time. One last way that you can experiment with this riff is to try out a bit of a delay on the sound. I'm going to use an 1/8 dotted delay, and I've got the tempo set at 72. So here's what it sounds like. I really like using this little 2-note riff because it's so simple but so versatile. You can keep it just as it is, or you can easily play around with adding more melody on top or below, so the riff becomes more of a repetitive texture that glues everything else together. If you'd like to learn more about playing worship keys, check out this next video.